Welcome to Kuro Talk. My name is Marvelous Achafu. And today on Kuro Talk, we'll be discussing everything that is to do about Valentine. We'll be discussing how Valentine has shaped the LGBTQI community, the pros and the cons, the facts and the myths. And we'll actually dive deep into the topic. Is Valentine really a toxic holiday, as many people have claimed it to be? And today, in discussing the topic, I have Chimezewe Henry, who is a documentary filmmaker, a human rights activist, and a minister. Welcome, Henry.
Thank you, Marvelous.
And I also have Yannick Peinwa, who is from Australia. He runs an LGBTQI event. He's also doing more in the multicultural, diverse, and inclusive events too. He's the CEO of Yannick Entertainment. He's a dancer, a choreographer, and also a Zumba instructor and events promoter, and also has an experience in clinical background in sexual health, mental health, in emergency and school health too. Welcome, Yannick.
Hey, thank you for having me.
You seem to be a man of you seem to be a man of many, many various talents. So many talents.
Yeah, well, I do a little bit.
So Yannick, you're in a relationship, a 4-year relationship. Can you just give us a breakdown of, because I love asking people, how did you come about to be in a relationship? Like, how did it happen?
Well, I met Paul online. I think it was like a gay dating app, but I wasn't really wanting a relationship at the time. I was just seeing what was out there because I had just broken up with my ex. We ended up going to the same gym. We ended up living next door to each other, like really close, 2 streets away. And then for 2 months, I was just like, let's just see how it goes, but I don't want to commit. And then he just kept showing up. And then now we live together. After 8 months, we just moved in, and now we have 2 dogs. And he's a doctor, a PhD in microbiology, and he teaches in Notre Dame University. So he used to teach like not aerobics, but like Les Mills pump classes, and I used to teach Zumba. So we've seen each other teach at the gym, and we have we're in the medical field a little bit, so we're connected there.
So I would love to ask a follow-up, but let me move to you, Henry. So Henry, you don't have a relationship, right?
I do have a relationship, but my relationship is still on the developing stage, and it's a long-distance relationship.
So how do you guys spend your... Let me move to Yannick for a moment. Okay. So Yannick, just asking, because this is a question that everybody asks, how do you guys spend your Valentine? Because most people say Valentine is just based on only romantic, that Valentine has been romanticized or something like that. That people just focus on how many rounds they can go, how much sex they can have, how much wine they can drink. Is that how you guys spend your Valentine?
I actually think that if Paul was to go all out on Valentine's Day, or he'd expect great things on Valentine's Day, that'll just make it not very romantic for me. It'll just be more of a nuisance and more stressful. So I think when I first met Paul, he used to spend a lot of money, like on dinners, and just be very romantic. He's the romantic guy in the relationship. I'm not romantic at all. But he would spoil me, Christmas time and Valentine's Day and stuff like that. He'd just go all out, and I'm like, this is too much. This is not me. I would prefer a spontaneous gift, because he felt like doing it, or he felt love at the time, and it meant more to him to do it at any other time during the year. But if it was orchestrated to be done on a certain day, I don't feel like it was genuine. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if we didn't do anything, it would not be very nice either, because I think it's always nice to do something fun for the relationship. But I think if you put too much emphasis on it and too much weight on it and expectation, it just doesn't feel nice. It just feels like it's, you know, someone's going to expect something of me that I'm not willing to give, and I'm not getting what I expect from someone because my expectations are too high and I'm going to be disappointed. It's hard work.
So Henry, moving on to you now. Your Valentine's Day, people, the same question goes to you. A lot of people complain that Valentine's Day is just all about romantic relationship. But Valentine's Day is meant to just be about showing love to the community, showing love to your neighbors, showing love to your friends, your family, checking up on them. But do you actually agree with that? Or do you feel like Valentine's Day should be for that your special someone? It should just be me and my partner alone. Like me and my partner, romantic love, having sex, drinking wine, and the neighbors, they can go and check up on themselves. Do you agree that Valentine's Day should be spread across everywhere for everybody?
I feel Valentine's should be spread across everywhere because that's the kind of person I am. I'm a person who indulges love, and I feel love should not be celebrated just once, like, once a year or once in a month, because it kind of comes out so fake when you do it just for that day. And most of us try to fake the love we've never shown. So for me, I feel Valentine should be a day where we care more about the communities, check up our neighbors, and also the people who are in our life. We should not neglect any part of our life. We should try to balance the both equation of the people in our life. Check up on my mom, check up on my dad, check up on the person who is also in a relationship with me, check up on my siblings too, and my neighbors and the community. For me, that's what Valentine is.
So, but Henry, moving on to the next question. A lot of people are single in this Valentine's period, and you
Yeah.
happen to fall on them or fall in the category of those kind of people.
Yes.
Do you not feel pressured in finding a boo? Because a lot of single people complain that they feel pressured and they have to find a partner, they have to be with someone. Valentine is coming, I have to be with someone. I can't spend it single alone. Because I would like to use myself as an experience. My relationship my relationship fell apart about a few days ago, and I feel there's so much pressure on me now. Like, how can you be single February 14? What will you be doing? You'll be so lonely. You'll just be there cuddling your pillow. Nobody to be with you. Nobody to. So don't you feel that same pressure too? And how can single people handle that kind of pressure? Social media plays a huge part too in that. We go on people's timeline and we see them.
First and foremost, social media tells us a lot of lies, and people only show us what they want us to see. So social media is more like an illusion for so many people. So for me, the only thing I do is during this time, I kind of invest myself in adding value to my career, adding value to my personality. It's not like I totally forget the other side of a romantic relationship, but if it comes by, it comes by. But I don't want to be fully dependent on someone or, waiting for someone to come by. Then I am dependent on that person. I rather want to invest in myself that when someone come, I'm an independent young man who has his own resources, has his own career. Then whoever comes in is going to add to my life. So at this particular time, I will encourage people, instead of looking at all the social media, illusion, because that's what social media is going to feed to us anyways, because that's their own market, or that's their own traffic to help promote their businesses. We should also look into investing in ourselves, investing in our community at this time if we are still single. I mean, being single is the most interesting time in your life, that you have your whole time to yourself. You could invest, you could travel, you could do a lot of things being single, just adding values to yourself.
But Henry, I would still like to ask a follow-up question. That some people will say you have 365 days in a year to add value to people's life, to do different things. But that one day, that Valentine's Day, you should spend it with someone special. And single people, they feel like, okay, some people even go as far as just being in fake dates, having this Valentine's, they call it a Valentine, I'm looking for that word. It's a particular word we use here in Nigeria. A Valentine partner. A partner, a 24-hour Valentine partner. And after 24 hours, they are single again. But for that Valentine's Day, they actually go in a relationship, Valentine relationship. So don't you feel like being single is kind of outdated? Like being in a relationship now is a new normal. If you are not in a
Yes,
relationship,
being in a relationship is a new normal. And I remember a certain year, one of my friends, because of Valentine, went back to a very toxic relationship. And I remember how that event happened. So he was single and he wanted just to have a relationship for the moment, right? Then he called one of his exes and like, yo, come over, let's go do something. It's Valentine. I don't want to be alone. So the ex came, they had a fun time, went out, then came back into the house. But after they came back into the house, that same night, they started exchanging blows. So that was how physical it went, and someone had to go to jail that day. So is it worth it? Is a 1 day Valentine Day worth it? So there are so many situations that surrounds you hooking up or having that 1 day relationship. Is it worth it? You've invested in yourself for a whole year, and then you're going to bring someone who's going to ruin everything in just a one night stand or a 1 day Valentine. So we should think about the consequences and not just the benefits that come, because for every benefit there is a disadvantage that comes with that relationship. So if the good weighs out the bad, then go for it. But if the bad weighs out the good, then stay clear from it. That's all I can say.
so Yannick, moving on to, there is a CNN report of 2010 that says that Valentine's Day has made, after Valentine's Day, a lot of relationships, as high as 60% of relationships fall apart. They go into split view, or what we call separation view, after Valentine's Day, because a lot of partners now weigh their relationships and say, okay, is this relationship working for me? They now begin to see a lot of unmet expectations. They begin to see a lot of faults in the relationship. So, Yannick, will you agree that Valentine's Day is actually toxic and just makes people see fault in their partners? That on that day, they just say, oh, it's been a long time. We imagine we're in love now, in a relationship, and what can I show for this relationship? Just unmet expectations, and ends up collapsing the relationship, or they end up coming out of the relationship.
Okay. You've asked me a lot of questions, so I'm going to start bit by bit. Okay. Now, first of all, is Valentine's Day toxic? I don't think it's toxic. I think it's a good day, depending on where you are in your relationship, to reflect on where you are going in your relationship, because you might find that the romance that you're seeking is a fantasy, and people have to either lower their expectations or look at their relationship and think, oh, maybe we're not trying hard enough in our relationship, or maybe we're not happy in our relationship. At least if they need to, they can evaluate, or it's because a lot of people are posting like, okay, they're in love, they're happy, and people are start to question their happiness as well, because a lot of people are in relationships for convenience, and they're not actually active in nurturing that relationship. So it's a good reminder. It can be a good reminder to just put more energy and focus onto your relationship. At the same time, you've got people who do want the 24-hour thing, but I don't think Valentine's Day is about that. My interpretation.
Yannick, can I just add something? Most people, you said it's a good time to reflect, but most people don't actually reflect. What they do, they call it quits. They just go like, okay, This is Valentine's Day, and I expected this from you, and I'm not getting it, and that's the end. And they just end the relationship. So they don't actually reflect. All they do is like, they look at the relationship and feel like, oh, I'm not benefiting anything from this. And they actually call it quits.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a reflection on society, because a lot of people don't want to put in the work. because of the illusion of romance. So they think that it's just going to happen, but they don't put in the work all the time. And like I was going to say, for me, Valentine's Day isn't about sex. It's not about that quick fix. It's about emotion and devotion and commitment. That to me is what Valentine's Day is about. That's why, for me, the commercialism, the commercial aspect of Valentine's Day doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's a good time to spend time with your partner and dedicate that time to your partner. It doesn't mean you have to flower them with gifts and spend stupid amounts of money, and it doesn't mean you have to put out on the night and have sex and get, I don't know, whatever. You want to have sex, it's great. If you're not having sex in a relationship, there's a problem. But, you know.
So, Yannick, I would still love to ask you a follow-up question, because you're the one in a relationship. So I would like to ask all my questions to you, like every one of the questions. So,
but what happens though if I don't want to have sex on Valentine's Day? What does that mean? You know, there have been Valentine's Days and Christmases and birthdays where I don't want to have sex, and if I don't want to have sex, what does that mean? Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't have sex just because I don't have sex for that reason. If anything, it puts me off having sex.
Oh, wow. So I would like to bring in the issue of gender norms. Gender norms comes to play.
Gender norms.
Of gender norms, yes. It comes to play in Valentine. And I would like to bring it to the LGBT community, especially the G community.
Did he just...
community, which is the case. The aspect of whole coming into play. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you cut out, you froze a bit for a second there.
Yeah, I said,
can you ask that question again?
I would like to bring it. Yeah, so now I would like to bring it into the aspect of roles coming into play. Like a lot of role, they say, oh, I'm the top, you're the bottom. So the top should handle the bills. The bottom, I'm not going to handle the bills. The top should be the one spending. So most of see that a burden to them. Like they get so burdened with the relationship.
Yeah.
So does that happen in your relationship?
I don't think... Okay, if you ask Paul, he'll say differently. Okay, because Paul does a lot of the bringing me flowers randomly, which is kind of the male usually gives it to the female. He's the romantic person in the relationship, so he thinks about that stuff. I don't really think about that, but it's got nothing to do with our roles. I don't know, because
Okay, Henry, moving back to you now. So Henry, finally now, let's just wrap this and take this home. Valentine's Day, how can we make it very special for the LGBTQI community? What can we do to make it like for the LGBTQI community moving forward? How do you feel like we should celebrate Valentine's Day that actually affects us, everybody in the LGBTQI community? What can we do?
The first thing
to spread love generally.
The first thing is that we need to redefine what Valentine is. Valentine is not sex day. We should not make it all about sex. That's the first thing. For those who are going to indulge in sex, make sure you indulge in healthy sex. Now there is COVID, so with COVID, I don't know what to say. With COVID, you have to be very, very careful if you're going out, so the cases doesn't rise, because definitely most people want to be with someone, and this is what is going to help spread COVID. But if we take all the measures that we ought to take and take all the precautions, will help lower COVID. Secondly, we should also check up on our community members. Not everybody's in a relationship. Most people are going to feel very depressed and frustrated, and no one has, come to say hi to them, or no one really sees them in such an attractive way. But that's not the truth. They should try investing themselves in something that's going to be beneficial in the long run, because at the end of the whole day, all this relationship we are in, or we may be in, may last for only a certain time, but the investment you make in yourself is going to last you a long time. What you invest in yourself is going to stay with you. Nobody can take it away. That's my few words to the community. Let's invest so much in our community during this time of love, and let's show love not just only to our partners, but let us show love to the whole community. Check up on someone. We've been on lockdown in Toronto for a long time, so most people may get into a place of isolation. So take up your phone, call someone, ask them how they're doing. Try to spread love in the way you could.
So speaking about love, how are you spending your Valentine? I know it's so much work. So what are you working on? Lots
For
of
me,
projects. Just give us a breakdown.
definitely for Valentine, I'm gonna be at home. I'm gonna call my mom. I'm a mommy's boy. I'm gonna call my mom. Then I'm gonna call my sister to check up my sister, because like I need to make sure that I send some flowers to my sister, unless someone else will be doing that for me. So just to make sure that my sister is on a safe zone, so I have to check up on my sister. Then I'm gonna edit. I'm gonna edit a lot of documentaries during Valentine's Day, and I'm gonna pick a lot of calls from a lot of lovers, lovers in quotes, because like
That's a very
I'm single, but I'm cute, So I'm still gonna get a lot of proposals from people, and I'm gonna be like, yeah.
So Yannick, how about you? So how do you feel like we can spread love as LGBTQ community members?
Um, I think including people in your little festivities, if it's not just one-on-one with your partner, like yourself, I would call my mum and see how she's going. Sometimes I've sent my mum flowers as well and given her Valentine's Day flowers, because my dad passed away when I was 20. So she's been a widow for 16 or something years. And yeah, I mean, I'm DJing on Valentine's Day at a restaurant bar. So I plan on sending invitations to people who I know would like company and to just join in, because I'm going to be by myself, even though I'm in a relationship. But just making people feel welcome and saying, yeah, you can come if you feel like it. Like, it's not restricted to just one-on-one. But Paul and I, well, Paul booked to dinner because he's the romantic one here for the night before, because we didn't know what was happening with COVID, and we got a booking the night before at a restaurant, just a dinner, and I make a point, just don't make expensive dinners. Like, don't spoil me. It's not necessary. Like, just the time is important for me, and it is romantic enough. Like, because otherwise, I don't know what he'll do. He'll just blow all the money,
Wow.
So, yeah.
Paul seems to be a heavy spender. It's like Paul likes spending a lot.
Before he met me, he had like huge credit card debts, huge, and every time he spent money, he was just trying to impress me, like trying to spend more money. I'm like, don't do that. Why are you doing this? It's a stupid, not wasting money. I can do that at home. Like, and so he's got no debt now. He's paid everything off because he doesn't have to spend anything.
Isn't money an expression of love? When someone spends money to you, that's an expression of love.
It can be. Exactly. Like a measured. It has to be a bit measured, like be smart. Like, it's not the amount of money, it's the thought, and it's what it is. And he has a lot of thoughts, like he puts a lot of thought in his gifts and stuff. But I think he thought I was like some other exes he may have had who were impressed by big expensive things and a lot of things and quantities, and I'm just not like that at all. So we've just had to learn each other's language of love, and we still are learning each other's language. And sometimes if I tell him not to do something and he wants to do it, it will break his heart. So sometimes I let him, because that's how he's expressing his love for me, and then he has to learn mine. So we have to compromise somewhere. For him, he enjoys spending money too, which is great. But you're frozen again, Marvelous.
So, Jan, any final words for this episode? Like, we've said a lot, we've talked a lot, we spoke about various issues. So, what is that final remark? What is your take home? What are you telling people? Your final remarks for this show, for this episode?
I think the message is that we all agree on is that Valentine's Day just needs to be genuine, heartfelt, coming from the right place, authentic, making sure that you're not giving in to the illusion of Valentine's Day and the commercialism of it, and not being sucked into everyone else's illusion and trying to make your relationship as great as someone else's or better than someone else's, or have high expectations of your partner that are not realistic. And also, I think it's important for your community, if you know that people are lonely, this is something you should be doing all year, is reaching out to people, like during Christmas, during those birthdays where, you know, some people just need extra support. Reach out to people. If you can spare a spot at your event or party or whatever, or house, if you are alone and you are single, then reach out to other single people who might be feeling lonely. There are other couples who want to spend Valentine's Day by themselves for maybe a meal, but it doesn't mean they want to dedicate the whole day to them. Like, you can find, if you are in a relationship, you can try to reach out to people that day just to see. There's nothing to stop you from just sending a message or a phone call, or like you say, your sister or your mum, just checking in, because I mean, loneliness is everywhere and it's all year. So at those anniversary dates during the year is the most important time to be just checking in on people.
That's nice. So, Chimereze, moving to you now, your final remarks. You've said a lot about this episode. I've said many things about Valentine's Day, but what would be your final statement? What would be your closing remark on this episode?
For me, just like Anna said, do not push so much effort to one day and forget the rest of the days, because that's going to be bad. I think you should put as much effort as you put in Valentine's Day on every day in your relationship. Secondly, look at the good in your relationship and look at the bad. Try to balance the good and trying to weigh the bad. Um, if the good outbeats the bad, then stay. If the bad outbeats the good, then leave. Because at the end of the whole day, we all are in a relationship because of the benefits we get from that relationship. That's my second word. And thirdly, spice up your relationship. If your relationship is going down the slippery eye, try to get something to spice it up. Add a little bit of fun, add a little bit of, a little bit of spice to it. Make it hot. If it's cold, if it's too hot, make it cold. So just try to balance your everyday relationship. At the end of the whole day, like I said, those on social media will show you only what is good about their relationship, but they are going through a lot of bad times. They are going through a lot of things you don't get to see on social media. So never base your relationship out of social media memes, because what you see on social media are all what social media wants to show you. Thank you.
That's a very good one. That's a good one from both of you. So let me just give my own, what I'll be doing this Valentine, or how I'll be spending my Valentine.
We need to
It's
know.
just basically, I think for me, it's out to more collaborations, people, because I've noticed in few weeks, or let me just say like over the past few weeks, yes, I've noticed when I launched my show, I don't have solid relationship with many people. So they might say, well, the reason why a lot of people don't, they tell me that I'm not so good with Marvelous is because it doesn't try to build relationship or it doesn't check up on people. So I say I'll do more of checking up on people. I will ask how people are doing. Hope they are fine. If I have to visit them, I will visit them. Mostly community members, not my straight friends, because this one I visit them a lot. I'll try and visit my family members, although we see, but not too regularly. I watch a lot of movies too. Like I will do a movie marathon, especially on queer movies. I've missed a lot of queer movies, a lot of LGBTQI movies. I would also try and maybe visit a motherless baby home. Just to, I feel like this Valentine, I will really try and do a lot of visiting, and reaching out to people. Based on love, I'm not looking for a relationship again. For now, I just want to be on my own.
But how
Relationship
you
doesn't work for
feeling though?
it
How
doesn't
you
work for
feeling?
everybody.
How
At
you
least
feeling?
I wouldn't say I would just say I'm feeling normal. The word will be normal. That's just the word, normal. Relationship isn't for everybody.
And a lot the thing is with also touching on just that, a lot of people in Valentine's Day, when they are feeling like you're feeling right now, like you've just come out of a relationship or whatever, that loneliness can be
Yeah, a lot.
a little bit dangerous because people will go out and meet the wrong person and
The
you know,
rebound guy.
yeah, the rebound. But sometimes rebounds don't disappear. You know, they stick
Yeah,
around.
that's the thing. They stick
And
around.
and
Some
that's
rebounds don't just disappear.
yeah. So like that time frame, you know, when Valentine's Day, Christmas comes, those people they kind of leave. They'll disappear because they weren't that they didn't come with the right fruits to begin with. You know.
Yeah, like what me I always tell people, like, I don't know, I think for now, what I really want is my career. I've seen it that what I want to pursue is my career. Relationship, yes, it's a good thing, but for me, for now, I think relationship should just be on hold. What I want now is a successful career for me to pursue it, for me to achieve my dreams, for me to achieve my vision. I can find love at 30, I can find love at 40, but I want to discover who I am as young as possible. That is what I want for now.
And to be
So anyway,
honest, let me
yeah.
just throw in something. To be honest, I don't feel love should come from someone else. Like for me, love doesn't come
Yeah,
from me finding a partner. Love comes from within me. So I don't look
exactly.
for love from when I go to the shop to buy myself a new clothes or a new iPhone or dress certain way. Love comes from the inner peace I found in myself, to be honest.
Yeah. Self-love is
Yeah.
actually the
Otherwise,
best
you'll be
kind of love.
giving someone. If you're broken, you're gonna be offering someone broken goods. Like
Exactly.
there's no point. You just have to
Yeah.
love yourself. Love comes from you. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else.
Hmm.
It's
Well,
good to invest
that's
the
very,
time in yourself.
yeah, it has been very, very interesting. And that's our offering on QO Talk for today. It's been nice hanging out with you guys. You guys have been wonderful, amazing, strong points from both of you. I've been hanging out with Chimereze Henry. Thank you, Chimereze, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Marvelous.
And I've also been hanging out with Yannick Bino. Thank you for coming on the show. It's
You're
been
welcome.
amazing
Thanks for
having you.
inviting me. It
So
was fun.
we hope on different editions when we talk about entertainment, about religion, sexual health, spirituality,
That'll be fun. I'll
a
be like
lot of,
Whoopi Goldberg on The View.
yeah, we go back on the view. So what we're looking for is like what's her name? Sarah McCain. That's her name now, Sarah McCain, right? Oh, Megan McCain. Megan
Oh
McCain, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so
No, you
what
don't.
we're
You
looking
don't want to be Megan McCain.
yeah, what we're looking for is a Megan McCain. Once I can give us the heat, like I can bring the heat. Megan McCain is unapologetic, and that's what I love about her. Very unapologetic.
And you know what? I was watching The View today. She's always by herself and she's always attacking. Like she just doesn't stop. But
Yes.
she's the only one. I admire her. I don't agree with her, but I admire her opinion.
I rarely agree with that too. I rarely, because I feel like most times she does more of attacking but I don't know, Sha. But The View is actually a good program. I miss Barbara though. She was moved out because she had dementia also. Barbara had dementia. She had to stop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was getting old.
I just watch it for Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, I used to watch it for Barbara. So before we take over the show with another That's our offering, guys. So please don't forget. So please don't forget to subscribe, and you would not like to miss the next episode. We're bringing you good episode back to back. So till next time when we see you, catch you all later. Peace out.
Peace.